first started riding, I came up this hill on my Ninja and there was a bunch of gravel in that corner back there, and I about lost my shit. Scared the crap out of me. Slow down! Go choke yourself. The town of Sela, Washington. I don't know if this transmission is just finally getting broke in or what, but I used to have a lot of false neutrals on this bike, where it's like guaranteed every time I'd take off, probably half the time I'd go to shift from first to second, I'd hit a false neutral. And that was pretty discouraging. I thought maybe I bought a piece of junk bike or something, but probably since this thing rolled, over, I don't even know how many miles I got on here. Since it's rolled over about 1,500 miles, I got 1639 on it. It's the transmission seems to have gotten a lot better. Look at that beautiful sky up there. I mean, it still does it from time to time. Nowhere near as much as it used to, though. Well, it just doesn't really get any better than this right here. Weather's nice. I mean, the wind could be less, but it's no big deal. Beautiful day on a Sunday. Out cruising around on a motorcycle. One thing I want to mention that I finally got my helmet camera and my microphone and recorder and everything all set up the way that I like it. On this bike, there's a lot more wind noise and a lot more engine noise because it's got that loud exhaust on it. But on my Vulcan and my Grom and everything, my voice comes through nice and clear, and the wind's not overpowering. I think this one, it's got quite a bit more because I'm kind of lean forward, with my head down more. But if I kind of sit up, I don't know, I guess it's probably about the same. But so I've been working on tweaking and fine-tuning my helmet camera setup since I started doing this. How long has it been since I first tried to video? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at that Grom ride video that I made where there wasn't even any audio in it, because that was probably an attempt at doing a moto vlog. Of course, the audio got screwed up on it. Ooh, nice Mustang in there. This thing rides so cool looking. Quite a while ago, I'd say it's probably been, I don't know, 10 or 11 years ago. I found it was an old Ford Ranger, one of those little tiny early 80s Ford Rangers in a town north of here called Ellensburg. And it had a 302 V8 in it, and the guy was selling it for $800. And I needed something to work on. So I went up there and I bought it, and we got it running, and I drove it back down through Ellensburg, or Yakima Canyon. And it had a license plate on it, but it was expired. So I was coming back through this town, Sela here. And I get pulled over by a game warden. And those guys usually aren't even in town. I mean, they're usually hanging out up there by the firing range, quite a few miles north of here. But he pulls me over and he asks me, why are you driving with expired tabs? And I said, well, I just bought this truck up in Ellensburg, and I'm just taking it back to my house, and then I'll get tabs for it. He says, well, I could either write you a ticket, or you could go across the street and get your tabs for it, because the licensing office is just, literally a block or so away. I was like, oh, cool. Well, I'll go get the tabs for it. So me being a dumbass, I walked in there and I got a temporary tag for it, which cost, you know, 60 bucks or some crap like that. Paid the $60, walked out, put the tag on the truck, went home, get home. And then I was talking to my mom a little bit later about the truck that I just bought, and I told her about it, and I said, yeah, I got pulled over. I had to go get the temp tag for it. And she says, well, why didn't you just get the license plates for it? Which would have been the same amount. Well, good question, Mom. I guess I'm a dumbass, that's why. That was another one of those project vehicles that I bought that I never really did anything with. I got it back to my house, tore the engine out of it. Started cleaning it up because it was all jerry-rigged together and, you know, baling wire and duct tape all over everything. But the motor was strong in it and that truck was fast. I think I drove it, you know, I had fixed it up, put a better carburetor on it, and I drove it for a day or something like that, and that thing, it hauled ass with that 302 V8, and it was scary fast. But I don't have that thing anymore. I sold it to my nephew. Got to rev bomb the hookers. If I had to choose one bike all over again, say I had this bike and my Grom sitting right next to each other and I could only buy one of them, which one would I have gotten? That's a tough decision. Because to me, they're two completely different bikes. You can compare the two side by side, but they, as far as like ergonomics and handling and everything, they're completely different. So if somebody asks you, says, which one would you rather buy, the Grom or the Z125? And it's like, well, I don't know, because they're different. You know, this is like a little miniature sport bike, whereas the Grom feels more like a kind of upright sitting, like a dual sport kind of position to it, and it's more kicked back and relaxed. Whereas this one feels like, you know, it just wants to go. Holy crap, is that gosh, that looks like a late 70s Thunderbird. Definitely a Thunderbird. Collector's plates on it. I think I'll go ahead and pass this mobility scooter and get a closer look at this thing. Yep, I believe that's a 78 Thunderbird. Pretty good shape too. Got a bunch of dust on it. The guy's taking it to the freaking car wash. Never thought I'd see the day where them big old ugly boats from the 1970s were actually cool looking. I guess that's how it is with a lot of things, you know. You get used to seeing them and then you see them every day, every year, and then they just disappear, like you just haven't seen them in a long time. And then they come back and you notice it's like, huh, those actually were kind of cool looking.